Another young man done good, went to Washington. Important stuff. Welcome into my state of mind. I am Dan York. Thanks for tuning in to us. Yes, we're going to be a young man from Central Falls who's got some serious life goals and had a great life experience in Washington, and he'll tell us all about it from the Boy Scout perspective this evening. Everybody good? I'm predicting Easter will be snowless. Just saying. I saw a spot on my driveway today as I drove out. That's all I needed. I figured another 8 days, 9 days of melting. I know we didn't get much today because it's freezing out there, but spring's coming. I can feel it. Let's go to the rundown. We got a lot going on here. This is not John Lennon. I hated that song, by the way. Imagine there's no heaven. Oh, God. Did anybody pay attention to the lyrics in that stupid song? Anyway, God rest his soul. Pension Week. Speaking of, well, some stupidity, there's some going on, and the gag order surrounding it is absolutely, well, I think it's un-American, to be honest with you. Go home. We don't babysit at the schools. I'll elaborate. Finally, yes, breaking ground. And they're all done. So that's why I'm thinking spring, because the basketball season is done. We got a lot of hockey left, though. Of course, your state of mind is important to us. All right, let's go in and find out what's happening. So we have our first full official, I guess when they say I'm really running in front of a big crowd or cameras, that means it's official, that Ted Cruz is running for the presidency of the United States. He's the senator from Texas. Here's his headline today. It was an Imagine theme. Imagine a conservative president. I actually like the speech for the technique, if not the substance. CBS has a bit on it.
Ted Cruz makes it official. He's the first to throw his hat into the 2016 presidential race.
I am announcing that I'm running for president of the United States.
The 44-year-old Republican senator from Texas first announced his candidacy on Twitter at midnight and then released a video aimed at young voters.
It's going to take a new generation of courageous conservatives to lead the fight.
There were plenty of young voters on hand at Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia, where Cruz emphasized his conservative values.
I believe in the power of millions of courageous conservatives rising up to reignite the promise of America.
It's an interesting theme, courageous conservative. I think you've got to be courageous to be a conservative these days because the country is not there. There are a lot of folks who love government programs, love government handouts. And so I don't know whether he can drive any kind of plow through, you know, an open election, a general election, as we like to call them. But he will be competitive, no doubt, in a very crowded field of Republicans for the primary, which is in 2016. Yes, these things start all too early these days. The Imagine thing was kind of interesting, though. I played some of the thoughts on the radio today. People were very busy on WPRO weekdays, noon to 3. I hope you join us. Reacting to some of his themes, but one of his Imagine themes was something along the lines of, you know, imagine a time when college graduates would come out of graduation with 4 or 5 job offers, as opposed to leaving college with $100,000 of debt and flipping burgers. So it was cute. I mean, cute like creative cute. Whether it sticks is, well, you got to win a primary first, right, Ted? All right, Pension Week. This is just ridiculous. The pension vote going on at Twin River today is for the retiree portion. Remember, employees, you know, who are working still for the state and the MERS program from the communities are yet to vote and will over the course of the week. Deadline is Friday. There's some of the long lines of the more than 1,000 people who voted retiree-wise, and by a pretty wide margin, they said yes. Ted Nesi was on the scene. He talked to me on the radio and also was tweeting 1,100 to 300. That's a pretty big margin. Look, the special master, Frank Williams, the former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, has been the one selling this to the employees, saying, listen, this is the state's final offer. And I'm told by reporters and people who were there that there was some inference that, you know, the chance of winning the case from the union side was not that great. Well, I've been saying that all along. But I will tell you, what's been lost in here is the actual constitutional question. We deserve to have we, the people, have been sued for the most part, and we, the people, deserve to have a constitutional question answered as to whether the legislature can change the statutes up or down, plus or minus, when it comes to pensions. And a settlement is not going to get us that. There are folks who just want to clean up this mess, take the financial hit against the former financial savings, bundle it up, say it's savings against the unfunded liability, and call it a day. Remember, there's a lot of voting that needs to be done still from the pensioners, the employees who have various unions, and according to the last set of rules, only one union had to say no for it to blow up, and that's what happened. But because of this gag order, we don't even know what the rules are. That's ridiculous. I mean, here's a headline from the ACLU's press release. You know, they're petitioning the original judge here, the Superior Court Judge, Sarah Taft Carter, to release the gag order. Steve Brown of the ACLU told WPR News why.
This is an extraordinary lawsuit with significant public ramifications, and it's just not the sort of thing that should be conducted in such secrecy, especially now that the basis for the secrecy in the first place, the confidentiality of negotiations, is no longer in play.
Yeah, amen. He's right, and this gag order ought to be lifted, like, now, please, Your Honor. The judiciary around here doesn't seem to know what their job is. It's crazy. Yeah, the theme is go home, because we're not babysitters in the school system. Here's the headline. Okay, so thankfully there were a few snags for the park testing, you know, the statewide testing, and everyone's got an opinion as to whether this is a good program or not. But one school system, like in Scituate, had almost 1/3 of its middle school kids not take the test. And there are pockets of parents who have been advocates for not taking the test, and they've impacted, you know, other parents in pockets, it seems. But according to the Journal story, who wrote this? I always give attribution. Linda Borg, the education writer, writes the following. She says, meanwhile, the schools have been treating the refusals in very different ways. So there are parents that are opting out. You get this? They're opting out. They're saying, we're not taking the test because it's too stressful. We don't like the security issues around the test. We don't like it on transcripts. It's unproven. There's like 6 million reasons why. Some are demanding, the schools are demanding that students remain in the classroom as their classmates who are taking the test are. Others are allowing students to read or study in the library or cafeteria. Here's what I say. I say, if they're not taking the test, pack them up and send them home. Call their parents and say, get out. The schools are not babysitter operations. You either take the test or you get out. Absent, against your record. Now, how they test the whole thing is up for debate. Well, what is this? You can go sit in the cafeteria, Johnny, all day long. Does anybody have any common sense anymore? Oh, it's inconvenient for parents. Good. Maybe they'll say, hey, take the test. All right. Finally, a memorial? Yes, it seems like we finally are going to get one. Headline about this, very important, Providence Journal today, nwpri.com. Can't believe how long it's been, and still they had no memorial there, but things are changing.
It's been a lengthy challenge planning the conversion of this plot of land into a permanent memorial, paying tribute to the victims of the Station nightclub fire.
I know it's frustrating and I know people are upset that it's been forever, but truly when I tell you we work on this 7 days a week, I spend a lot of time, more time with that than probably I do with my family members sometimes.
At a memorial service Sunday marking 12 years since the tragedy, optimism for later this year.
Fingers crossed we can start our first phase of construction end of spring, beginning of summer.
The memorial is designed to feature a 30-foot arch marking the park entrance, a memorial plaque, a commemorative walkway, and gardens.
You know, that'll bring it all back when that gets done. You got to credit people like Gina Russo who just keep pounding away at this. So if they break ground this spring sometime, they'd be done by spring of next year. That'll be poignant, no doubt. All right, so the basketball teams are done. I'm sorry that my alma mater took it to the PC Friars on Friday night. Listen, I'd like to see PC win if they're not playing Dayton, but they couldn't get it done.
It was a 2-3-point game, basically the entire game, until they went on, I think, an 8-0 run, and then I think that was the game. You know, and I think the energy in the building definitely helped them.
I mean, we had the game right where we wanted it. You know, we really don't get into the crowd, buy into the crowd. We just play our game, and you know, it was a tough situation. They came out and they threw the first punch, and they had it from there.
Yeah, what I liked about Cooley and Company and Mr. Hinton there is that they didn't make any complaints about officials or home court or anything like that, like the Twitter sphere was full of. I mean, come on, PC fans, get a grip. Then URI laid an egg at Stanford last night. I mean, just threw rocks at the basket. You know, they shot better in the second half, but it's too bad because if URI had stolen this one at Stanford, and they should have, they would have been home for round number 3 for a chance to go to New York for the NIT final. But both teams had great seasons this year. You know, post-tournament play is post-tournament play, and you should not take it for granted. All right, your state of mind is important to us. Just give us a ring at 228-1886. Email me, Facebook post, tweet. But we're going to rush along because I got a young man that I want to meet, and so do you. Stay with us. He's an Eagle Scout, which is a very high honor and very difficult to achieve, as many of you know. And here's his story. It doesn't end there. He was chosen to head to D.C. to bring a message that the Boy Scouts of America formerly called the Reports to the Nation. That's pretty heady.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, Sebastian.
Thank you very much.
Don't you call me sir. I'm kidding. You can call me anything you want. The respect emanating from this young man. That's a big deal. So few are selected to do this.
Yes, sir. So it was 10 of us, and we were selected from over 3.5 members of the Scouts, or 2 million youth members of the Boy Scouts. So the way we were selected is we were nominated by our local councils. And our local councils would send our applications down to the National Council in Texas. And from there in Texas, the National Council would look over all the applications and select the Scouts who they wanted to be on the national delegation to give the report.
So how do you think you won them over? Other than an incredible resume, great performance, what was your project for Eagle Scout?
So my project, I helped the Black Snow Valley Tourism Council. I created a small campground in Central Falls called River Island. This was the first urban campground in Central Falls, and well, in the state, in the first campground along the Black Snow Valley River. So my part in the project, I cleaned up the camp and outside it, because it was also a track. It was a little footbridge that led to the small island. So I cleaned it up, cleaned off all the brush, killed off the poisonous plants. I brought in about 8 picnic tables, cleaned the island, and brought in stones and made a fire pit.
Did they keep it that way?
Yes, sir.
Nice. So,
well, actually, we moved the fire pit because in the first location I put it, it flooded, so we had to move the stones and move them to the center of the island.
What has the Scouts meant to you?
Oh my God, it's been an amazing experience. Growing up in Central Falls in an urban community, it's given me so many opportunities that I never thought I would have. I've been camping throughout many states. I attended something called the National Jamboree. It's held every 4 years, and I went to West Virginia for 2 weeks, and we did different activities there, zip lining, BMX, scuba diving. Those are just different opportunities that a kid like me from Central Falls would never have the opportunity to do. I mean, a lot of kids that come from urban cities don't have the chance to experience the outdoors. You know, they're always in the city. So this program has given me many experiences, and not only that, also so many friendships and bonds that I've built with other people throughout the scouting program.
Do you think obviously it's based on your answer, it's unusual for urban kids to be involved in the Scouts?
It's a lot harder for Scouts in urban settings to join the scouting program.
Why?
That's something I'm really not too sure about. Maybe just
it's just not an orientation to it, right? Is it cool?
Oh, I love it.
How are you viewed by your peers as a Boy Scout?
All my peers accept it. I've been with all my classmates since, I guess, first grade, and they all accept it, and they've all seen the opportunities that I've had. I've actually had a lot of friends come up to me and say, I wish I would have joined the Scouts when I was earlier, but it's too late now. So a lot of my friends actually look back and wish that they would have joined the Boy Scouts.
So you went to Washington.
Yes, sir.
Pretty cool.
Definitely.
Let's walk it through a little bit. We got photos. From the trip. So there you are on the right with the Senior Senator Jack Reed, on the bottom with Junior Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. And who's up top on the left? Is that Nancy Pelosi?
Yes, sir.
Holy cow. Did you ask her any tough questions? She usually folds up when that happens. But, so what was that like?
It was incredible. We gave the report to many people throughout Washington, throughout the Capitol, the Supreme Court, the Pentagon. We went to the Naval Academy. We gave presentations to all the government leaders, government officials, and people from the president's cabinet about what the scouting program has done over the past year, so 2014, which is what the report to the nation is about.
And is this the report?
Yes, sir. It is actually.
So this is the formal report that you bring. Very ceremonial, huh?
Yes,
Pretty
sir.
cool. And we've got some podium pictures and the like too. I mean, did we put those up yet? I haven't been following the cameras. So is this you making an oral presentation? Or are you just hanging out behind the podium looking cool?
Yeah, making a cool picture.
Oh, we could say you made a big presentation. Yeah. That's all right. And with the general. Very nice.
Air Force.
And where are you there? You're at the house?
In the Capitol.
Yeah.
Taking a tour throughout the whole Capitol. That was in the Pentagon, the 9/11 memorial.
Yeah.
And we visited the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and I got the chance to change the wreath, part of that ceremony.
Fantastic. First trip to Washington?
No, sir. Actually, it was my third. I've been there once with Special Olympics. I'm part of the Special Olympics program, so I went over. I was selected by Special Olympics Rhode Island to represent them in Washington, something called Capitol Hill Day. So that was last year. And during the National Jamboree in 2013 also, I went down with the Scouts. We stopped there for, I think, 2 days.
But this time you were there in official capacity with a mission.
Yes, sir.
What did that mean to you?
It was, I didn't believe that I was chosen out of so many Scouts. I'm sure that many Scouts that also qualified the same qualifications as me. It was just so surreal. My former Scoutmaster, he called me into the office and he says, I have good news for you. So I went in, and it was my former Scoutmaster and the Scout executive of the council. And he said, there's this program called Report to the Nation. A few Scouts each year are selected to go to Washington, D.C. and give this report to the government officials. It's extremely hard to get selected, and there's a good chance, it's actually very likely that you will not get chosen. Do you want me to submit your name anyway? I said, yes, sir, that would be great. He said, well, I have good news for you. I already submitted your name, and you've been chosen. And
so on the same day that you've got notification that you were chosen, he asked you for permission to put your application in.
Yes, sir.
He probably knew you wouldn't deny you. That must have blown your mind, huh?
It did. It was definitely a good day for me. That morning, I also had my interview with Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, because I'm going through the process of going through the Naval Academy, and I had my interview with him for my nomination. So
Have you had word yet back?
Yes, sir. Well, in July, I'll be going over to the Naval Academy Prep School, and next I'll be heading over to the Naval Academy.
Pretty impressive. More when we come back. Stay with us. Sebastian is an achiever already, no doubt, headed to Annapolis, a Central Falls grad. Every time we get a success story out of Central Falls, I celebrate it, because still, to this day, the state looks on Central Falls sometimes as, a problem school district, lack of achievement. We send all of our state money to Central Falls to run the school system. But there's some great things that come out of Central Falls, and obviously you're one of them. Tell me about your experience in Central Falls and your education there, and what has molded you, in addition to the Boy Scouts, into this already success story.
Yes, sir. So adding on to what you were saying, it really saddens me that some people have such a negative perception on Central Falls. We've had some trouble over the past, but they're calling Central Falls the transformation city because we've come back from so many things. We got out of bankruptcy. Our school graduation rate went up, I think, about 30%. Central Falls has been doing so many things to improve the community, the school and the community as a whole, bringing everybody closer together. My experience at Central Falls, I actually went through kindergarten up to now my senior year in Central Falls, and I've loved it. I loved all the schools I've been through, all the teachers, the people I've met here are people that I'll never forget. They've been such a tremendous influence on me. A lot of people see the people of Central Falls as ones who won't really achieve as much as people from other cities, and it's really unfortunate. Some of these adults at my school or just throughout the community have achieved so much, and those are things that people don't really hear about. I've had a teacher who worked for the Navy, worked with the Pentagon. His name is Mr. Scapini. He's been one of my biggest help, and not only him, the Mayor James Diosa, you've met with him. He's an extremely nice guy, really young, an amazing leader. Done a lot for the city. He's really determined to getting the city back on course like it used to be. And everyone has just been so supportive of my experiences throughout my years. And with the Boy Scouts, it's helped me become the person I am today. The Scouts has taught me the value of leadership, the value of service above self. They've done a lot, and like I said before, growing up in an urban community, there are also a lot of influences, negative influences, but the Scouting program has always kept me on track. Throughout the summers, I would go camping, attend many different leadership trainings. So all the things that the Scouting program has done for me has really molded me into the young man I am today. A lot of leadership opportunities and the values of the Scouts, preparing young men and women of today into the leaders of tomorrow. And it's a Scouting program that has actually led me to want to pursue my future career becoming a Navy SEAL. The order, the discipline, the integrity, I loved it. So
I hope you didn't miss that. He wants to be a Navy SEAL. You know you want to be a SEAL.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be hard work.
Definitely. But anything worth doing is worth overdoing.
Why are you so optimistic?
I feel as if it's important to stay positive. You have to, everything in life is about keeping a positive attitude. If you let something bring you down, it's going to bring you down for as long as you let it. I mean, there are definitely always going to be obstacles along the road. I mean, I've grown up with a single parent my whole life, and she's been through so much, yet she's continued to work hard to be the person she is to get me to where I am today. So you always have to stay positive, because unfortunately, life won't wait for you whenever you're upset, whenever something happens. So you have to keep pushing. You have to keep going. If you really want to achieve your goals, get to where you want to be in life, you have to keep going no matter what. That's why it's so important to keep a positive attitude no matter what you do.
This is the easiest and most enjoyable interview I have done in a long time. You are something else, man.
Thank you.
And I don't think it ends with the report to the nation. I think this story of Sebastian is just beginning. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir.
Will you come back and check in with us from time to time?
Yes, sir, definitely.
You're graduating this spring, right?
Yes, sir. I'll be graduating in June.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I bet you are. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Honor to meet you.
Thank you for having me.
One more thing when we come back. Stay with us. Just want to soak that young man up, huh? What a great job his mom did, and the community did, and the Boy Scouts have done, no doubt. Speaking of great job, hey, you know the torch run that we talked about back at the end of February? You know how it got pushed back to this weekend? Yeah, well, those knuckleheads jumping into the water and the whole project raised about $90,000 this weekend for Special Olympics, so congratulations to them. Tomorrow night, we've already recorded the program. We have Coach O'Shea and an interesting story from a young man from Australia, from the Bryant basketball team. So we'll see you then. Good night.